Hi, this is Mike L. from the Comic Book Syndicate, and we're here at the Motor City Comic Con in Novi, Michigan. We're here to interview one of the most critically acclaimed comic book writers of the past 3 decades, Mark Waid of Daredevil, Kingdom Come, and Superman fame. Let's talk to Mark right now. Hi, here we are with one of my favorite writers, not just now, but for the past 20 years, going back to even Amazing Heroes.
Thank you.
You're an editor at Amazing Heroes, right?
I'm editor at Amazing Heroes back in the... Amazing Heroes, for those who don't know, it was like comic book resources, except they used to print it out on pieces of paper. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Now, was there like a falling out after that happened, or what ended up happening in the end?
I wasn't the best fit for an office job. I find this every 5 or 10 years. I'll take an office job, I'll think that's the way to go, and it never works out. I'm just not a guy who needs to be working around other people.
Perfect. Okay. Now, I read recently that even you weren't happy with your first Legion reboot back in the 90s. Is that true?
Yeah, it's really true. It was okay, but it felt very much like sort of a karaoke Legion, because we were redoing stories that had been done in the Silver Age before, and I regret that. I really would have preferred we'd been pushed into doing a little more new stuff with those characters, but it was a no-win situation at DC because the history of the Legion had been so eroded by continuity reboots and stuff that there was just no foundation to build the Legion on anymore, so we had to sort of start from scratch. So, it was very well received, but it didn't feel as good.
And Legion of Superheroes, as far as I remember, other than Valor, was Legion your first regular monthly book?
It's a good question. No, actually, I think the Comet was. I was doing the Impact stuff. I was doing dialogue on S.H.I.E.L.D. and dialogue on the Comet, and then Tom Lyle left the Comet, and that was for me. And then from there, it was Legion 94 or whatever it was. I was doing dialogue over Barry Kitson, and then Flash, and then it's going to build from there. Yeah.
Grant Morrison said that in the midst of sort of all the 90s, the doom and gloom, he felt that you were one of the few people carrying the spirit over of the Silver Age. Was that a conscious effort?
Not really. Actually, you know what, it really wasn't, because it was never a matter of trying to be nostalgically reverent to the past. It was just, I'm not writing cynical stuff. I can't write cynical stuff. I can't write dark and gritty and gloomy just for gloomy's sake. I need to write something that is a little more human and a little more upbeat and positive, and so it's not so much recreating the feel of the Silver Age as it is sort of getting back to a time when the characters were a little more heroic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, okay, that brings us up to about Superman 2000.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever talked about why it was a proposal by you, I believe Mark Millar, Grant Morrison,
Tom Pyre, yeah.
And it was rejected. Did they give the reason?
It was accepted for 24 hours. That's the thing. The Superman editor at the time came to me and said, we want to reboot the franchise. Do you guys have any ideas? I went off, worked with Grant, and those guys came up with a bunch of ideas, came in with a document. The editorship had changed. The editor who asked us for it was no longer editing the Superman books, but the new editor liked it a lot. And so he gave us the assignment. And so we went out to lunch, and he talked about how he'd be doing Superman and Grant would be doing action or whatever it was. But he was all excited. And then the next day, we were called up by DC and said, no, you guys are, not only can you not write Superman, but you can never write Superman. Because the perception was that somehow the editor who had asked us for the proposal, when he found out that everybody was angry about it on the upper management level, they didn't know that he had asked for it. He kind of put his head in the sand and didn't stick up for us and say, oh yeah, I asked for that. So the perception became, oh, well, they just came in and tried to scalp everybody's jobs. So that's where we are.
See, now I'm a huge Superman fan, but
me too.
I found Superman, honestly, to be unreadable. Even, at first I did John Byrne's reboot. I'm not a fan of it now.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main problem with the way Superman has been treated in the past 30 years?
It seems weird. We talk about how it's sometimes like they try to do the character badly. It's like they don't. Like Batman, they're interested in trying to get it right. With Superman, it's like, man, these are some bad, not all of them. I mean, there's some really good Superman comics, but there's such a huge slew of them that have been so off base. And I don't know if it's just they don't know what to do with Superman, or they feel ashamed by the character because he's perceived as boring. But he's not boring.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. I think I'm very proud of Superman Birthright. It's my favorite thing I ever wrote, and I think that's my statement on Superman.
Excellent. And I waited, forever for that to come out. I'm grateful it finally did, even though, unfortunately, it was sort of rebooted.
Yeah, exactly. It was supposed to be the official reboot of Superman's origin, and then 2 issues in, Jim Lee and Brian Azzarello did their big Superman push, and that became where all the marketing energy went. And again, it's okay. That's the way things work. But we were suddenly not. We were kind of shuffled off to the side. So. It's okay. It's done really well in trade paperback since and in hardcover, and so it's, I'm happy about that. I'm happy the fact that I felt like it was one of those hits that doesn't do well in the theaters, but it does extremely well on DVD. So that's kind of how it's turned out to be.
Okay, and for my final question, it's a two-part question.
Sure.
Are you a fan of Grant Morrison's New 52 Action Comics?
Yes, I really am. I gotta say, one of my great moments in the last year, the year before, was reading all 18 in one fell swoop in one day. That was just great. I mean, you have to understand that it's kind of disjointed, and there's a little confusing, but there's just so many ideas in it, and so much of a love of Superman that I love that stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that a lot of readers didn't warm up to it, but
yeah.
Now, part two of that question, in light of some recent comments made on Twitter, I have to ask, what do you think of the rest of the New 52?
You know what? Honestly, I get a bad rap for being negative about it, which is not true. I never in public say anything other than the God's honest truth. It's not for me.
Sure.
I'm not the audience for it. If you like the New 52 stuff, that is fine. Everybody has a right as a reader to enjoy what they want. It's just not for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, 52 comics, they can't all be judged the same, correct?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Those 52, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will agree, there's a lot of homogeny there, a lot.
Yeah.
For me, I like Brian Azzarella's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Scott Snyder's Batman.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot. There's good stuff there. I'm just saying it, but like I said, for the by and large, I'm not the audience.
Funny enough, I'm surprised to say this, at this point in time, Marvel is actually more diverse.
Yeah, by far. I mean, look how many women they have doing comics, how many women they have as editors, how many characters they're willing to take chance, and how the night and day difference is that working at Marvel, they understand that if you let creators create, you'll get much better comics.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you for a career of great comics, and it astonishes me to say you seem to be getting better and better, and Daredevil could be the best thing you've done.
Let's hope so for so far, but thanks so much.
Far, yes.
All right, great.
All right, thanks a lot.
My pleasure. You bet.
Okay.